Pain has a face. Allow me to show it to you.
Alright, with that said and done, man, let's get into this. Probably one of my favorite movies. Way too much to talk about. I'm gonna gush over this movie like a fucking babbling idiot, I'm sure. Let's get into this. I'm so excited. American Werewolf in London from 1981.
You saw me standing alone, without a dream in my heart.
Beware the moonlights.
What the hell was that all about? Beware the moon.
A wolf. Did he say a wolf?
I'm certain if there were a monster roaming around England, we'd have seen it on the telly. We were attacked by a werewolf.
I'm going completely crazy.
The last remaining werewolf must be destroyed. It's you, David.
Excuse me.
Okay, so American Werewolf in London is about a couple of Americans overseas in London checking out the sights, and they happen to get caught out in the middle of nowhere during a full moon. They get attacked by a werewolf. One of them dies, the other is scratched, and now he has the curse. He gets put in a hospital. When he wakes up, he finds that a hot nurse wants his nuts, and that his dead friend keeps coming back to tell him, hey man, you're going to be a werewolf if you don't kill yourself. You need to kill yourself so that you can end your suffering and mine.
Oh, don't be a putz, David.
I don't know how good of a plot explanation that was, but that's what you got. So let's talk about the genesis of the movie real quick. Now, John Landis actually wrote this when he was like 18 years old back in 1969, and he just kept trying to get the movie made, but nobody was really down with the script. People didn't get the combination of the comedy and the horror. So he wound up making Schlock. I think that was his first film. And then after that, he had a bunch of big hits throughout the 70s with Kentucky Fried Movie, Animal House, and Blues Brothers. Those movies were all huge, and that's what gained him the ability to finally get the budget to make his werewolf movie. He contacted Rick Baker. In fact, him and Rick Baker had been talking for a long time, many, many years about, we gotta do this werewolf transformation scene. I want it to be like cutting edge. I want people to see the transformation out in the open and not some kind of like fades and dissolves or, off-screen kind of thing. He really wanted the audience to see this go down. So they had, they worked on ideas of how they could do this, but it took so long for John Landis to get the budget for this movie that ultimately Rick Baker had agreed to do the effects for the Howling. And I don't know what the deal was in the 80s. I don't know what the deal was. But people were obsessed with werewolf movies in the 80s. I can't even list them all. Really, I don't even want to try. But man, people loved some werewolf movies back then. And so needless to say, John Landis was none too happy about this. That he kind of had to yell at Rick Baker a little bit. And Rick's like, all right, I'm sorry. We'll do American Werewolf. So he had to drop out of The Howling so that he could do the effects for this one. And thank God he did. That's the genesis of the movie. There's so much to talk about. I don't even know where to begin. But I think a good place to begin is, well, my notes, right? So this is the initial notes that I wrote for when I first watched the movie to do the review. It's very rough, kind of stupid, but this is I just want to share this with you because it's all funny to me. So, okay, American Werewolf, 1981. Straightforward shock intro with main characters. Okay, off to a good start. Who's the bald douche? That would be Frank Oz. Wish a hot nurse would assert herself on me. Animal magnetism, wolf pheromones 101. I'm sure I was drinking when I wrote this shit. I wrote the slaughtered lamb, is the most hostile pub ever. Let's see. The slaughtered lamb has terrible service. Fuck Frank Oz. Anyway.
These dumbass kids, they never appreciate anything you do for them.
Yeah, let's get into this. So much to say. Where to begin? Well, let's start with, I liked how the movie just doesn't waste any time. They show us, they intro us our main characters in a truck with a bunch of sheep that, of course are going to be led off to their slaughter. And so that's a metaphor for our characters. They find themselves at the slaughtered lamb. Some random pub out in the middle of the English countryside there. Apparently, I have a lot to say about this. Bear with me here for a second. So, this is 1981, of course, now that is the past, but in the context of the movie, modern days, 1981, people don't believe in werewolves and vampires and shit. We know that shit doesn't exist. Except for this one pub in England happens to have a werewolf problem, and they're so fucking secretive about it, they won't tell anybody, they won't get help. Like, get some help for your werewolf problem. I mean, I'm sure you could find a way to prove it to people. It's a real wolf. Why are you so hostile about, like, get out of here, get out of here, stop asking about our star on the wall, trying to protect ourselves from some werewolves. But, like, I really don't get it. Like, these guys are just stuck in the past, and they're all, like, super hostile, and I don't understand why they decide, like, they're going to keep their werewolf problem a secret, whatever. But anyway, so they kick out these Americans, and they're off walking on the moors, and they get attacked by a werewolf. It's a great scene, too. Griffin Dunne really goes full force with it. He really sounds like he's being murdered. And then when you see him sit, like, laying on the ground, just shredded, it's great. So anyway, yeah, David is knocked out, apparently for, like, almost a month, I guess. And then he wakes up, so it's, it's time for the next full moon when he wakes up in the hospital, and he's got this hot-ass nurse. Alex wants him so bad because he's got animal magnetism now. Now, that was the thing. I was always like, why does she want this guy so bad? Multiple times in the movie, she talks about how attractive she finds him. And it gets awkward, but I finally figured it out. It's because he's got this animal magnetism because he's a werewolf, so she can't help herself. Her panties are soaked. She doesn't stand a chance. She wants that Wolf D. There's the nightmare scenes to kind of, I guess, because it's a slow build-up. It's like the older days. A movie would be more of a slow build of a story to a climax. And these days, when this movie gets remade, it'll be like a wolf attack every 14 minutes, and it'll be a CGI wolf, whatever. But this is more about building up to the reveal of the werewolf. So in the meantime, what we get is these crazy nightmare scenes that come out of nowhere, like dream sequences within dream sequences. I think it does add to the movie, even though it can be confusing. You're like, fucking Nazi werewolves shooting everybody up and burning down a house. What the fuck is going on right now? And then, of course, it also works because then when his dead friend Jack comes back to warn him, then he doesn't know. He's like, I'm dreaming right now. This is another dream. So that was to put us, the audience, and, put us into his position of like, well, is it a dream? What the fuck is going on right now? Because at this point in the movie, you have no idea what the hell is happening. So that stuff all works, and I like when we see Jack for the first time after he's been killed. He looks, that makeup job it looks so fucking good. I mean, it's gross, but that's what's good about it. And just the fact that that's on screen for so long, out in the bright lights, not hidden in shadows, nothing like that. So Rick Baker had to do an excellent job because John Landis insisted all his effects would be under very bright lights. So it's all about this build up to, first of all, is this real or not? Is he just tripping? Are these all dreams? Is he really going to turn into a werewolf? And it's all this anticipation. They even have the scene with where he's just pacing the room, waiting for the full moon to come to find out, is it going to happen or not? Is this real or not? And it's just like it draws it out, and like you're just on the edge of your seat. You're so ready, like, are we going to see something? Is something going to happen? What the fuck is going to happen? So speaking of that transformation scene, well, now that's something that lives in infamy, isn't it? A lot of hard work went into this. Practical effects, no CGI to be found in this movie. Fuck that. So many months of hard work, and it shows. Even if it's for like a few seconds of a shot on screen. I love that they put in this much work because look at how good this shit looks. And to this day, I think it still holds up. To this day, you can look at it now. It's dated to an extent because you'll be like, okay, the blocking of some of these scenes is a little bit awkward because they had to hide certain things at certain points. But, the editing, the way that they would switch from shot to show the progression of the transformation was all done fairly well. And I do believe that for the most part, it still holds up today. It's worth mentioning that the Academy Awards invented a whole new, award for makeup effects because of Rick Baker's work on American Werewolf. That's amazing. Like an Academy Award for horror movies doesn't happen very often. And for something like really gory, bloody effects, they were like, here, have an Academy Award. That is very rare. Except for the fact that this is interesting to note that Rick Baker won another Academy Award for makeup effects for The Wolfman in 2010. So what are the odds? What are the odds? I do have a few nitpicks. Now, after this great transformation scene, what we get is some quick flashes of a wolf kind of like, rah! And then that's it. They'll introduce these victims and then very quick flash of a wolf, rah! And then that's it. They're gone. With the exception of the subway scene, which all is great. And what an interesting location anyway to have like a werewolf attack in some London subways. But then when you see the wolf in that long shot walking into the frame, fuck, that looks so fantastic. And I buy that that's a real werewolf walking into frame, and I feel sorry for that guy. So that's a great one. But those other scenes with the other characters, the couple, the guy, the bums, they just give us quick wolf flash, and then that's it. I could use more. So then we're getting to the climax of the movie where David finds himself in a porn theater talking to all of his dead victims, which is, again, mixes so much comedy. It's like, you gotta be almost confused, like, what am I watching here? Is this a comedy or is it a horror? But it's great scene, and the fact that they're in a porn theater, and John Landis insisted on filming their own porn that's playing in the background, and you barely see some clips of it here and there. But they filmed their own porn for this movie. That's hilarious to me. That's John Landis for you. Now, all of this leads to this massive climax of chaos in Piccadilly Circus here in London. And I fucking love this. The fact that this wolf goes on a rampage throughout London and causes all of this fucking carnage. It's so great. And the snappiness of the editing, the way that shit's crashing and just so much fucking mayhem. I love it. I actually wish this would just go on for like 10 more minutes of this. I could have just watched all of this chaos just go on. This wolf like walking around London, fucking everything up. It's so fantastic to see. I probably was like 4 or 5 the first time I saw this, like 1983, 84-ish. I wish I had been old enough to go to the theater and witness this, because this is movie history. This is movie history. This changed the game of horror. This movie did. And this changed the game of effects work. This movie was so... I'm sorry. I told you I was going to be... told you I was going to be worshiping this movie. But anyway, it's just so great. I wish I could have been there as an adult to really witness the full scale of how this movie just changed the game. One more thing to mention here is that, this movie inspired the video Michael Jackson's Thriller, because Michael Jackson saw An American Werewolf in London and was so impressed by the effects and the combination of the horror and the comedy, he wanted that for his song Thriller. So he contacted John Landis, asked if he wanted to do it. John was down with that. He got Rick Baker back. The dream team, fucking Michael Jackson, John Landis, and Rick Baker, and they made a fucking video that stands the test of time. It's still awesome. People still love it. How great is that? Man, the early 80s. What a time. All right, now that I've got that out of the way, let's rate this fucker. Well, what else could I possibly give this but a 5-star rating? I love this movie. 5 stars. It's the best. Love it.